And we are live. So, good night. This is Empowering Teachers for Success. I'm Amanda. Edwin, a lot of you know me. Some of you I don't know as yet in the group or who's looking in. I'm hoping we have some people looking in tonight. If not, it's going to be shared on the Facebook page. And hopefully I can upload it to Instagram as well. And my what do you call it, my YouTube channel that I just kind of like started and having to get going. So welcome everyone. And tonight we have Nelcia, is it Nelcia Roehm?
Nelcia Roehm.
Nelcia Roehm. And Nelcia and I met through another Facebook group, the Coaching Empire with Fabian. So maybe about a month or two ago during something that she was doing, and we met through there and we connected, realizing that we are both from the Caribbean. I'm from Trinidad, and Nadia is from Saint Lucia. Okay.
Yes.
Now, through my Empowering for Teachers for Success, I'm an educator. I've been an educator for over 30 years, and I'm proud to say that. And
awesome.
It's my passion. I love teaching. And I feel that teachers need to be empowered in their roles, because over the years I've seen so many teachers fall through the cracks. I've seen people, teachers who suffer from mental illness, and I think that they're not spoken to, or they're not taken care of enough. And tonight we're going to talk about the whole mental health and well-being of educators, and that's why Nelcia is here, because she does a whole lot of that. And what I'm going to do now is have Nelcia introduce herself, what she does, and give us a presentation, regarding strategies that can help educators, to deal with the mental health issues that they may have, and how to go about with the well-being, as they go through the teaching. So go ahead, Nelcia.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Amanda, for inviting me to join this group and also to get this opportunity to share on your stage. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be here. As you heard, my name is Nelcia Roehm, and I am from the island of Saint Lucia. And this evening, I want to share with you some tips on health and wellness and how teachers can combat stress and emotional challenges and mental struggles. And so I'm going to wrap that all up in one and do that as quickly as I can, because I know teachers are in this group, teachers are listening. And even if you're catching the replay of this, teachers are busy, and time is usually the biggest issue for teachers. So I do respect and value that. So I'm going to share my screen here so I can show you. Let me click here and see how that goes.
Are you able to do so?
So let me know if, hold on. So you tell me if you can see my presentation. You tell me.
Yes, I just added it to the stream.
Okay, so you can see this first slide, improving your mental and emotional health. Do you see that? How to live mindfully and take care of yourself?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay. So this evening, I want to share with you some tips and some ideas about how teachers, people in the field of education, can take care of their emotional, mental health, because that is such a pivotal thing. It's such a pivotal factor in our health and wellness. It is so important. In fact, so much hangs on it, even our teaching career and how we do our jobs. And so that is super important. But let me start with sharing with you. I am originally from the tropical island of Saint Lucia. We call it the Helen of the West. I don't know if you have ever been, Amanda. I can't remember if you said you've been, but it is a perfect place to vacation. It's a great spot. And quite often people ask me the question, why did you leave St. Lucia and come to Grand Junction, Colorado, where I now live? And I had to say to them, well, I met someone, I married them, and that's where they're from. And so I followed him. And so that's why I'm here. This is my family. I have a family that I love, and they mean the world to me. They keep me going. I have a husband named Craig, and I have two wonderful sons, Nazias and Natyrus. I don't think you'll ever remember that, but those are their names, and they keep me on my knees and on my toes. They're adults, young men now. And so, yes, I want to share with you, start with my story. So this photograph was taken the very first year I started teaching. When I migrated to the United States in 2009, I got a job in 2010. So this photo is from 2010. So it is 10 years, since this photo was taken. And I was an aide in a classroom, even if I had teaching credentials. It took me some time to get my foot in the door. And so I spent my time as an aide helping in a 5th grade classroom. And that's how I got started. But the first 5 years, or I would say the first 6 years teaching in the United States, it is so different than St. Lucia and what I was used to, and the demands that are placed on teachers and the high expectations and the non-negotiables that are there. I became overwhelmed. And if I were just overwhelmed, that would have been okay. Maybe I could deal with that, but that led to so many other things. At that time as well, I wasn't living mindfully. I had so many other feelings that came into play. Being a Caribbean girl, a woman of color, working in a predominantly white area society, I was severely challenged. I felt inadequate. I felt like I had no knowledge. There were so many things that were new to me. The language that was used was definitely not something I was used to. And so I did not know what I was doing most of the time, even if I was a highly sought out teacher in my country of origin. I basically sucked. I was stressed to the max. And like I said, I was not living mindfully and I didn't value self-care. So at that time, I didn't know what I needed. So I went to comfort food to comfort me. I cried every day for years. I hated my teaching job. I wanted to quit teaching. I actually began putting on a little bit of weight. I was not fat, sick, and nearly dead, no, but I was overweight and, in fact, over my weight for my height and my, gender and activity level. And so I began to get concerned. And I told myself that this needed to end. I could not continue living like this. I could not continue to be stressed. I could not continue to be feeling inadequate. I could not continue in the path that I had traveled. And so it was one spring break. I was on spring break, I believe. And I was surfing the internet. In fact, I was sitting at my computer thinking, I don't think I can go back to teaching. I'm not enjoying teaching as much as I thought. I'm struggling so much. I'm not measuring up. A lot of things are going wrong. I'm not feeling well. I can't go back to teaching. And as I surfed the internet, I saw this ad for a juicing challenge. It was for a 21-day juicing challenge. 21 days to juice, add juices to your diet, and it will make you feel well. You'll have more energy. You'll feel stronger. I definitely wanted more energy because I had no energy to go work out. I had no energy to do all the things I wanted to do. I definitely wanted to feel better. I definitely wanted to be healthier. So I decided to give it a try. And so for 21 days, I started on this journey. And as they say, the rest is history. I have never looked back. And so from that 21-day challenge, I adopted a plant-based diet. I decided that I wanted to feel well. I love the results I got from my 21-day juicing challenge. I love how I felt. I love the energy that I began to have. And as I began to have more energy and feel better, I started thinking of what things I could add to my diet or what things I could add to my life. I started exercising and going to the gym. I joined the gym, in fact, and I started going as much as I could, increasing every week and going more often. And I began to build those habits. And that's where my passion and love for health and wellness really took flight. And I began to do this. And so, fast forward about 5 years later, I have decided that I want to be a health and wellness coach for teachers. I want to share with teachers because I see lots of teachers going through the very same things that I went through 5 years before. I see teachers going through the same challenges and they're going through the same pains and struggles. And it hurts my heart because I know there is an answer. And that answer is really health and wellness. And so it can be done. So there was a huge transformation that took place. And I wanted to share this photo. Like I said, this photo, people will look at 2009 and think, oh, that's not too bad. For me, it was, I was definitely not at my best at that time. And you can definitely see the difference in 2019 in that photo where I started. I have a workout regimen. I eat better. I find enough time for rest and self-care. It is part of my daily practice. I include all those wellness activities on a daily, weekly basis, and it has totally transformed not just my physical body, but my mindset. That was a huge transformation for me as well. And so today, teacher burnout is so real. Lots of teachers are stressed. They are burnt out. They are tired. They don't know what to do. I see it not only on Facebook or Instagram, all the social media pages as teachers share it. And I'm going to show you a few that I pulled that I want to share with you tonight. But also when I listen to teachers as I talk and interact and engage in conversations, I hear the cries of teachers. And this is kind of what put this passion in me to step out and help teachers transform their lives. So every day I hear teachers say things that just blows me away. And these are just a couple of them. Like I read this recently where a teacher said, I just finished day 2 of teaching in person and online at the same time. That's what we're doing right now in this COVID time, teaching hybrid, double teaching. And the teacher says, I don't think I'm going to make it. Why? It's not because this person does not love teaching. It might be their passion. I think it is. But they're so burnt out. They're struggling mentally. They're struggling emotionally. There are so many problems that are there. They are stressed daily. And then another one says, anyone planning the exit strategy? What are some goals you have for life after teaching? And sometimes we tend to think, many teachers think that you can't have a life whilst teaching. You can only have a life after teaching. And I'm here to say you can have a life while you teach. You can be happy and teach. You can be strong and teach. You can teach and be well and be the best you want to be. And that's why I titled my book, Living Your Best Teacher Life, because teachers can live their best lives. They just need to know how to do it.
That's true. And before you move on, just to get back a little bit, Nelcia, on, you said the teachers, you hear every day the teachers are struggling and they're stressed out, they're burnt out. Do you get any feedback as to why?
So
there to be an underlying cause.
So honestly, the underlying cause for their stress is the workload. So teachers have a heavy workload. It is a heavy lift for teachers to do all the things that are demanded of them, not only by the state, by their school districts, but by the principals or within their own schools and their classrooms. Also to students, a struggle. So the students are coming to us now more challenging. And so students have lots of emotional problems and teachers are carrying that emotional load that students have. And so when we carry that load, we're taking on that extra stress and it's creating stress. And the big issue here is that we don't have good outlets for that stress. So we're not getting these things out. We're not getting them out of our systems, whether it be to talk about it or doing activities that would help alleviate some of that. We're not doing any of that because we're so bogged down with the load of work that we have, the grading, the planning, the instruction, the special services that we provide for students.
Mm-hmm.
These packed together can be super overwhelming for teachers. And that's kind of the reason why. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It is no secret that teaching is a stressful job. It comes with the territory. It's part of the package. And that is why there's no getting away from it. Teaching is never going to get easier.
No.
But what needs to happen is we, as the educators, need to find ways that we can make our job easier by taking care of ourselves. And so that's why in this next slide, this is the answer: self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is the answer to teacher problems, to emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, whatever area. Self, which is simply an intentional act that nurtures us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we may need nurturement in the physical sense, we may need nurture in the emotional sense, or in the mental sense, whatever it is, self-care is the answer. And so that is what I promote as an individual. So I want to share with you a few tips for self-care. There are so many other things we could do, but these are high on my list. And so tip number one is to have a daily happy hour. And so people hearing this may think, oh my goodness, I love happy hour. Well, guess what? I'm not talking about happy hour at the bar or meeting friends for a drink. Yes, you can do that. And that does care for you, because when you meet with friends, that's kind of like your primary food, social friendships.
Emotional outlet. Mm-hmm.
That's food that nourishes you off of the plate. I'm not talking about this type of happy hour. In fact, this is where I have a very strong opinion about. I don't believe that alcohol is the answer, because quite often when I scroll through teacher pages and Facebook pages, many teachers will say, I just need a drink tonight, or teachers talk about how much they drink. In fact, some of it is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Just look to alcohol to help alleviate their stress. And in a moment, it's temporary alleviation of what we're going through, or it's just temporary relief. But in truth and in fact, alcohol can have more damaging effects on us and our wellness than it can be a means of supporting it. So that's what I mean when I say happy hour. This is the happy hour I'm talking about. Exercise, movement, anything to help you de-stress. That is that happy hour. So I'm not saying that you need to go run a marathon, or I don't mean that you need to be a triathlon athlete,
Mm-hmm.
or you need to do anything extensive or that's rigorous or too vigorous. You just need to get up and get moving. So it could simply be you get home from school, and I know some of us have families, and I know some of us, we need to prepare meals. I am like, when I get home, preparing meals for my family is something that's sacred, something I do every day. I am one of those. I'm from the Caribbean, so I cook every single day.
What we do as well.
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, but you can find time. Sometimes it could be just taking a walk. I will share with you something I did on Tuesday. In fact, I go to the gym, but on Tuesday, there was not enough of a window of time for me to have an hour for the gym. I had like a 40-minute. I can get to the gym and do a workout in 40 minutes. But what did I do? I ran 3 miles around my school. So we have a huge block area where I could run. And I got dressed after the kids left, when it was, I got my time in, because we have our contracted time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got dressed and I got out there. It was beautiful. It was perfect running weather. I got out there and I started running. And it was absolutely wonderful. It was 30 minutes. That's all I needed. And I got my bags when I got back to the school and headed home. 30 minutes. I worked out and I went home and got dinner ready. There are so many ways. I mean, that's a presentation all by itself on how you can incorporate physical activity and movement
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
into your day to make it happen. Many people will say, I don't have time. We do have time. And if we want to feel well, if we want to do our jobs well, we have to make the time and figure it out. And in my book, if you ever read my book, I have tons of teacher testimonials of how they make the schedules. And some of them are crazy schedules. And I admire these teachers who wake up at 4:30 or get up at 5 or who go to the gym and go to school. Like they carry everything with them. I mean, the sacrifices that people make for self-care, it is so worth it. So every day you need a happy hour. So let me retract that and say not necessarily every day, but make it at least 3 or 4 times during the week. Get your happy hour, get your movement, get your exercise. It will make a world of a difference. That's my tip number one. So how does this help teachers? It relieves stress. It will release the endorphins that will help boost your mood. So when you say, oh, I feel so stressed as a teacher, I can't do this job anymore. When you feel like you just like you're under a blanket, you cannot think straight.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise is going to help improve that mood. It will fire you up. You will be pumped up. Yes, when I'm done exercising, I feel like I can conquer the world. I feel so powerful and so strong. And many other people feel the same way. So if you want that pump and that boost of endorphins, movement is going to do that for you. It will help you reach and maintain your ideal weight. That's another perk of exercise. In fact, we could write a whole book about the benefits of exercise and it would be endless. But these are just some of the few connected to teachers and the struggles that teachers go through. So when you think about your emotional and mental well-being, hey, exercise, movement is going to make that difference. Very powerful. I want to share with you another tip. Tip number 2, eat the rainbow. This is one of my favorites because my whole signature program is going to be centered around food. I believe in the power of food to heal the body. And it did that for me. And I know it can do that for you as well. And so when people hear Eat the Rainbow, I remember I ran this challenge on my Facebook page in March, April. I do Eat the Rainbow. That's when, we, in the springtime, when you have the rain and you have all the rainbows coming out. And then one person said, does M&Ms count? And I'm like, no, it does not. So I don't mean M&Ms or Skittles or Lucky Charms or colored eggs. I actually mean these. Every day, eat at least one plant food from each color of the rainbow. And so that is exactly what I'm talking about. When I talk about eating the rainbow, most of our fruits and vegetables match the colors of the rainbow. Okay. And the colors in these foods, they all do something different for us. They all target certain organs and parts in our bodies that they heal and they nourish, and in turn make up the whole person. So that is why every day we need to try to get in at least one food from each color of the rainbow. So since I did this rainbow challenge, I'm mindful about this and I intentionally do this, So if I make a salad for lunch, I want to make sure that maybe in the mornings I have a red smoothie or red juice, and then I have some fruit, some yellow, fruits and some blueberries and something, just to be able to get all the rainbow colors in. And so when we eat nourishing plant-based foods, they do something powerful for our bodies, okay? They, along with exercise, will nurture and nourish us. And so how does this help teachers? It will nourish your body. It will bring a feeling of well-being when you eat healthy. It will provide the antioxidants your body needs to combat stress and other damaging chemicals. It can heal you. Fruits and vegetables, rainbow foods, foods that are plant-based, they can heal our bodies and they can nourish us so powerfully. And so when we combine that with exercise or good movement, we are like fighting all those free radicals and all those emotional, these emotional stress that we go through. We are fighting fair at that time because we are giving ourselves a fair chance. And I guarantee you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that if we do these things consistently, intentionally every day, we are going to feel exponentially better than we did before. It did that for me, and it's done that for thousands of people or many people who have these same testimonials. So I have one final tip for you, and that is make mindset shifts by using daily affirmations. Mindset is the number one thing. I know it's my third tip, but it actually changes everything. In fact, before you decide that I need exercise, I need to get movement in daily, before you decide I need to eat better than I do, I need to stop the comfort food and begin to think about food that will nourish and nurture me, it starts in the mindset. The mind must be made up. Your mind must be healthy to say, I am ready for transformation. I do not want to be stressed anymore. I want to heal my emotional and mental issues that I have. So I need to exercise and I need to eat better. And so making mindset shifts is what's going to help us. Now, these mindset shifts are also intentional and will help combat things that we have no control over. So when I think about making those mindset shifts, I'm thinking about teachers who are feeling inadequate. I think about teachers who feel like I am not good enough for this job, or my teammate is better than I am. I don't know if you've ever seen this in your part of the world or where you teach or your experience in your 30 some years of experience, but I have seen it in my short 18, 19 years of teaching. I felt it when I first came here. I felt this inadequacy. I felt I wasn't good enough. I felt like I sucked as a teacher. I felt like I was not measuring up with others. And so guess what? I went into this mold where I compared myself with everybody else and I thought everybody else had it all together and I didn't. And after I began to take care of my wellness, mindset shifts was one of the number one things I had to do. I had to stop comparing. I had to stop thinking I wasn't good enough and remind myself I was not just good enough, I was more than enough. So as educators, we need those mindset changes. We need to begin to see ourselves as changers, earth changers or world changers. We need to see ourselves as super important, essential people. And we're doing our best. We're giving our best. And it doesn't matter what other people are doing that may seem better than we are. We need to be confident in what we're doing and embrace that. And the wellness that we have from the exercise and eating right is going to influence that somewhat. And so here's some things I want you to think about. Be happy with who you are. Be bright. Be you. Enjoy who you are as an educator. Enjoy your journey. Think about ways to improve because we all need to improve. And that's one of the things I love about teaching and education. You never stop learning. You never come to the point where you can say, I have arrived. No, and we will never, because education is dynamic and there's continuous stuff to learn. Look at us now. Most of us who have been teaching for decades, we feel like we're first year teachers because what? COVID. We have to learn how to pivot and we have to think about teaching based on the times that we're living in. So we are forever learning and growing, and we need to have a mindset shift of I am growing and learning. I may not be where I want to be, but I will get there. And so that little piece is going to influence our emotional well-being. When we can stop crying, and whining and worrying about what the teacher next door is doing or how the teacher next door is doing stuff, and the teacher next door is better than we are. We think about, I am happy with who I am making a difference, and all of that will come together. Remember, every day is a second chance. So we've got to give ourselves that opportunity. You have a chance to start fresh every single day. And so every day I remind myself of this. How does this help teachers? Having this mindset shift, how does that help us? It does. It will fuel your drive. It will give you the motivation to keep going when things get tough. You will constantly be inspired, which will decrease the desire to feel depressed or stressed about your job. And so those are the things that have really been powerful for me and have worked tremendously. These to me are the three pillars of mental, emotional, and physical well-being for teachers. Having movement, exercise daily, or at least 3 to 4 times a week. Eating healthy daily. And there are so many strategies around that I could share, but I don't want to spend too much time or diving. I want to give you these ideas. And then making mindset changes, making those shifts. Begin to see yourself in a different way. Begin to see how valuable you are, that positive person that you could be. That is super important. And so this is something that in my classroom this year, and I remind myself. Every day I affirm myself with these words. The future of the world is in my classroom today, and I can make a difference in this person's life. Now, in order for me as an educator to make that difference, I need to feel well. I need to be well. I cannot show up well for my kids if I'm not healthy. Being healthy in mind, body, and spirit is what educators need to show up at their best for their kids. Only then can we give our students the best of us. And so because the future of the world is in your classroom, whether it be a virtual classroom or an in-person classroom, or you doing a hybrid, you have got to remember that the future of the world is in your classroom. And these kids are depending on you. So if you have one reason for self-care, it is this. We are holding the future, and we want to do a good job because we want a bright future. And so my final thoughts with you. You, dear teacher, you are essential, you are valuable, and you are needed. You need to be healthy to be able to do all of these. So thank you so much. And I wanted to share with you one last slide, my newly published book, Living Your Best Teacher Life. It has tremendous ideas and thoughts that I've shared, more than what I've shared here today. If you ever want to dive a little deeper, or you want to know a little more, or you want to find out more about how you can build healthy habits and incorporate some of these into your daily regimen or your daily routine, this book is a great resource that you can use to help bring about these changes. So just let me know in the comments what you think, and if this would be something that you might be interested in, knowing more about.
Thank you so much, Nelcia. A lot
Yeah.
of information you gave us here. I learned a lot from what you said, and
You.
that's part of what I'm doing. So the whole empowering of teachers, this is part of it. Letting
Wonderful.
letting teachers know that there are people looking out for them, that there
Yeah.
are strategies to help them.
Mhm.
As you mentioned, the whole thing about being overwhelmed and the teacher
Mhm.
burnout,
Yes.
and being able to live mindfully so
Mhm.
that we can be there for the children or the whoever we're teaching. Because I teach adults, and
Yeah.
right now, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We take on their emotional struggles
Yes, we
and
do.
have our own. So how do we balance that?
Yes. And
Okay.
it's so important to balance that, because guess what? If we don't, we will not be our best selves for them. We will not be able to show up in the right way. You know, can you imagine if you come to school as a teacher and you're feeling so stressed, you're so overwhelmed, you're so sick and tired of your job, you're just going through the motions. You cannot give your best to these kids.
No, you
And
can't.
it will be like torture, you know, and research shows, and I have some of this research in my book, that teachers are leaving the field of education in droves, because not because they don't love teaching, not because they're not passionate about it, but because that level of stress has gotten to them, that it has just driven them out of the profession. And that to me is sad.
And it's from what I'm seeing, there isn't enough support given to them from the ministry or their district
No.
leaders or even their principals. I think their principals, maybe they don't know how to help their teachers or how
And
to
do you know,
recognize the signs of stress in teachers.
yes, and there's something else that teachers go through. Teachers do that a lot, because I did that my first few years when I was going through my struggles. We pretend. We pretend that everything is okay. You know, if you saw that photo when I showed that very first year when I started,
Mhm.
I had this big smile on my face because I had to put up a front. I had to show that I'm strong and powerful and I'm doing my job and I'm doing the best. I had a lot of pride. You know, I didn't want people to know that I was struggling, but I was struggling. And I did not have the confidence to share with someone else and say, hey, I'm struggling. I need help. And many teachers are doing the very same thing today. They are struggling. They are ready to sink down under the ground, but they will not say to anyone, hey, I need help. There's something about teachers. We pride ourselves in being able to carry it all and do it all. And we don't want to share that with others.
That's right. And I think a part of that is, I mean, I have done that myself in the past where I have the mindset, and you talk about mindset, where
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going through something, whether it's personal or whatever, on my way to work, once I get to the gate,
Mm-hmm.
I drop it there. I leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk into the schoolyard with
Mm-hmm.
that facade that everything
Yeah.
is okay. I can take on the world today. I can take on anything today. When in fact,
Yeah.
you are struggling internally,
Yes.
right? So you get through the day and
Yeah.
then you leave and you pick up that baggage again to go home with.
Been there, done that.
Teachers do it. They do it because I did it
Oh,
myself. I know
that's for sure.
exactly what you're saying. You
Yes,
know, so
absolutely. So we do, and I think also too, it takes courage, because as teachers, we see ourselves as professionals, and we often think other people are judging us, and
what?
so we're
Yes,
afraid of that judgment. We're afraid to be looked on as inadequate.
inadequate.
But all this stems from that feeling of inadequacy. We don't want people to think that we are terrible or we suck. So we keep it all inside. And that's kind of like what I did all these years. And that was not good.
Yeah.
Was not good.
Because and one thing too, why we do that is parents put us on a pedestal.
Yes.
So we have to maintain that image for our parents because if we
Mhm.
do anything that takes us off that pedestal, we don't feel good about ourselves.
No, we don't. And I don't think it's only parents. I think also too with each other.
Mm.
We want to give this, you know, just this picture that I'm better than you, or I'm just as good as you, or we don't want to open up and be vulnerable and be transparent, you know, about what we're going through. And I think I'm hoping, you know, and that's what I shared a lot of my own struggles with that in my book, when especially when I wrote the chapter, You Are More Than Enough, or Don't Compare Yourself to Other People, because that comparison effect, it is so detrimental to our success and our growth. And sometimes as teachers, we tend to think, well, I don't want other people to know that I can't do this, or I cannot do this, or I don't know how to do this. In fact, we should be at the point where it's okay to let people know that you don't know what you're doing, or you're not sure and you need help. In fact,
Mhm.
that's how you're going to grow. But sometimes we have it in the reverse way. And so unfortunately, it's a mindset thing. And when we begin to work on that mindset and understand that me not knowing the answer to something or not knowing about something does not mean that I'm not good enough for my job.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So thanks again. I just want to wrap up a little bit now. It's coming to the end of time, and I know you have another engagement.
Yes.
So I just want to say, we're going to wrap up what Nelcia said and her 3 tips. Having a daily happy hour in terms of your movement, your exercises, eat the rainbow, which heals
Yeah.
your body. So eat all the vegetables, the fruits that were healthy for your body that will help heal you. And of course, having the mindset, shift
Mm-hmm.
that you have to take care of yourself. You have to live mindfully, right?
Yeah.
And I always say, we have to change the conversation in our own heads because we are negative. We talk negatively to ourselves every day. We do it. And like
Yes.
you said, I'm not good enough for this. Oh, I don't think I can do that. But no, we can change that for ourselves by changing how we think.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole affirmation, a daily affirmation for ourselves, is certainly
Mm-hmm.
something that we need to do.
Yes.
To change the way we think and how we want to take care of ourselves. If we have to be there for children that are in our care to teach every day, because we have a mandate, or the adults, whoever we teach. And secondly, for our families.
Yes.
We need to be there for them too.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I want you guys, next week I'm having someone on as well. She's from Trinidad and Tobago this time.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to catch that one.
Her thing is a little bit different. She deals more of the emotional well-being of the students. So it's a little bit on the other side of things. But again, teachers need to be aware that, yes, it's not only the teachers that go through stress, the kids do as well.
Absolutely.
So yes, and thank you. So I'm going
to
we
need to be well to help the kids with their stress. So if we feel well, we will do an even better job of helping them manage their own stress.
Their own stresses. So I need you to send me the link for your book as well, because I will add it to my page and to the group.
Yes, I will do that. And this is a copy of it. This is what it looks like. Living the Best Teacher Life. And it is an amazing book. And I've learned so much from it. And I always refer back to it and go back into it all the time. Although sometimes, it's nerve-wracking when you write a book and then you're trying to read it. It's, but it really is helpful. And it is a great book that teachers can use as a tool. I'm working on the devotional for it as well. As well as the journal. The journal, I'm working towards getting the journal ready by December and the devotional by early next year. So I'm super excited about that.
Excellent. So you just keep me posted on that.
Yes, I will.
I'm happy you're in your group, so please feel free to share the group page with others in your own group.
I will actually add it as a recommended group for my Healthy Habits group.
Perfect. And I'll do the same for you on mine. So thank you very much again. And this was really exciting for the first
Well, it was a pleasure to be here, and I loved sharing this message with you. And, it actually gives me an opportunity to practice. I've only shared it once before with the staff at my school. I got to do this presentation, and I saw all the improvements I've made. And then after doing it now, I'm thinking of how I want to improve it.
Of course.
Great to have this opportunity. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to practice and to share.
Thank you. All right. So I will have this should be uploaded to the page as well. And
nice.
You'll be able to share it. All
right. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you so much and have a good night.
You as well, and have a good one. And thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.